survey that. Because that one popped up while we're on the air. Yes, tornado warning until 8:45. So let's go over and take a closer look. That's the only tornado warning we have in effect here in North Carolina at this point in time. So we are certainly looking at the very beginning of this severe weather threat. I'm going to zoom in here on Forsyth County, and I'm going to stop this radar just so we can survey what's going on. This is for the southwestern corner of Forsyth County, where Clemens is located. This is where you may be seeing some rotation. As I put up I'm going to put up a different source for our radar here just to give us a little bit better view of what's going on without all the warnings flashing up there to interrupt. All right, here we go. Going down to a closer view on radar. I'm so glad Alex is here. Alex Schneider is going to be tag teaming with me here to cover the severe weather threat, and we knew that this was going to be a rough day. Along Highway 421 and the I-40 split, this is as you are taking your Yadkinville exit on the western side of Winston-Salem, southwestern corner of Forsyth County. This is where you have a tornado warning. Going back up, and let's take a look at some of the rotation, and it's very weak. This is what we have been seeing though with this storm. The rotation is not necessarily strong inbound and outbound winds, but what it is, we are surveying some stronger winds ahead of this line of thunderstorms. That 66-mile-per-hour wind with a slower wind behind the line of storms or within the line of storms. So that rotation may not be signature classic rotation, but it is still something that it warrants being cautious about, because that broad rotation is going to indicate where a storm could feasibly sprout up. We're not showing anything in our Storm Tracks program, which oftentimes does point out where rotation is within a thunderstorm. But these winds are pretty hefty as you look over here to the 421 split here in Winston-Salem. We can zoom down a little bit closer. These, it's not impressive as far as where you're seeing a big shift in the wind direction. Typically, we want to see a bright green or blue along with a pink or peach color if you're going to have a really strong rotation and strong tornado. But as you can see, there are several lines of pixels between that change in color, and it's really just between winds coming up from the south that are really accelerated ahead of the storm and much slower here back along that 421 split. So this still can spawn off some rotation, but anything that we're seeing here on the radar is unimpressive and it's very broad. Still, we have that tornado warning in effect, and you need to take cover if you are in this area, because this is where we're going to see the potential anyway for a storm spinning up. Let's see if we can get that radar back up. Severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect for the entire Forsyth County area, with that caveat that rotation could be occurring. We're looking right now at your radar, and this is our sweeping radar, so it's one of the most recent ones that we can survey. I'm going to stop it just so we can see where our storm is right now. This is a fast-moving storm too. We've seen these storms moving at about 45 miles per hour or so. This one is simply a radar indicated severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado, moving to the northeast at 35 miles per hour. This warning is in effect until 8:45, as you can see, but the storm is going to be near Winston-Salem around 8:25. It's already on the west side of Winston-Salem near Haynes Mall and near Kernersville around 8:30 this morning. Notice that warning goes all the way up to the Guilford County line. So we'll be watching as this storm continues to move to the northeast. Just a reminder, if you're in the path of this storm, that includes the entire city of Winston-Salem, Walkertown, also Kernersville, make sure you are taking cover, because this storm is moving at a very fast clip. It's going to be hard to move quickly if you're not prepared already, and we want you to go ahead and seek cover if you can. So I'm going to zoom in and see if we can take a look at some of the street level radar. I'm going to put this up over here. See if we can find some of those streets that are going to be the biggest problems this morning. Of course, Highway 158, Highway 421, I-40. Getting pounded right now with very heavy rain and incredibly gusty winds. Gonna zoom in a little bit farther. Some of the highest winds right there along Greenwich Road, Harvey Street and Knollwood Road, Maplewood Avenue and Bethesda Road, Country Club Road also right there at Highway 67. You're getting pounded with rain. This is where we may have some rotation in the thunderstorm that's moving through. Again, a tornado warning in effect for Forsyth County until 8:45. The heaviest rain extends all the way down just east of Clemens. The storm is moving to the northeast at 35 miles per hour, and it's going to continue to move over downtown Winston-Salem shortly. The estimated time of arrival in Winston-Salem, give it about another 5 minutes in the downtown area. More roads that may be affected by this storm: Lawndale Drive in Winston-Salem, Renolda Road, University Parkway. This storm is headed your way around Northwest Boulevard. This is where you should take cover, go to the lowest level of your home, away from windows, put as many walls between you and the storm outside. We are certainly going to be dealing with blinding rain and incredibly high winds with this storm. I'm going to see if we have any other information as far as the velocities within this storm. So far, we're not seeing, again, that really huge pronounced shift, but some of the winds within this storm, a 71 mile per hour wind coupled with something a little bit lighter here to the west, 13 miles per hour. It's really just a strong shear that we're getting, and this explosive increase in wind speed there at ground level. And just remember that our National Weather Service radars are quite a distance from the triad. So these winds are off the surface of the neighborhoods here in this particular map view. This is going to be winds in several thousand feet off the surface. I'm going to ask our producer if Alex Schneider is going to be over at the wall, because we are going to tag team for tornado coverage, and if she is ready, she may have some insights here to share. Alex is ready. Okay, Alex, show us what you are seeing on your end of things over there.
Yeah, so radar. If I can get the director to switch over to Max 2, that would be perfect. But I do have the timeline just tracked out. So right now, I know the computer is kind of in the way, sort of right now, but just off to the west, that's where that leading edge of the rotation is. That rotation's kind of almost right near the Winston-Salem area right now, but it's for that tornado warn storm. It's moving off to the northeast, and I tracked it out just so that we have an idea of those down the line who are in the tornado warning area, just because I know some people driving to work, trying to leave for work, whatever it is. Walkertown expected to see this line right around 8:35, 8:43 a.m. For Kernersville, and then also into Oak Ridge by 8:51. Auburn's Crossroads at 8:58, and then 8:59 for Summerfield. I think my producer just said something in my ear, but I'm not 100% sure what she just said. Okay, so we're going to continue to keep an eye on where that rotation is. So I'm going to go ahead and clear off this data now, and I'm going to move so that we can see where this area of rotation is currently. So let's see, we're going to pause it. They're updating the warning right now, it looks like, from the National Weather Service. So we're going to see what that update necessarily entails. It doesn't actually look like it's doing anything other than flashing. So we're going to look at the rotation, and right now, I'm going to be honest, it doesn't look overly impressive, but we're looking at this area right near Winston-Salem. We have some greens here, we have some blues here, and we're going to watch this kind of track off to the east. But again, I don't see anything overly impressive with this. I'm going to just kind of query some of the winds and see if we can figure out how how strong these winds are. I'm going to send it back to Emily because it sounds like she may have an update here.
Right. Yeah, I was just looking at the update from the National Weather Service on this storm that, as you were saying, that the flashing image here on our county display, that they shrunk it down. First of all, this storm is still headed up to the northeast. They're saying that flying debris could be dangerous to those caught without shelter. This is radar indicated rotation, and it's not very impressive as far as the inbound and outbound signatures that we typically would see if there were a funnel actually being produced by this storm. So this is southeastern and eastern Forsyth County, Winston-Salem, Walkertown, and Kernersville. We can actually zoom down a little bit closer just to see some of the streets again where the rotation may be, and again it is not really strong rotation, but North Liberty Street here, North Patterson Avenue, just incredible rainfall right now. Blinding rain for you if you are driving along Highway 158, 311. If you have any friends or family that are out on the roads right now, hopefully they pulled over until the rain gets a little bit lighter, because it's going to be really difficult to drive in this type of environment. The intense rainfall's a signature of the more intense rain and wind associated with this line of storms. And this is all within the warned area. I want to pull over here also to Kernersville. You're under this warning in Kernersville, and this is your time to take cover in Kernersville and Walkertown along the Northern Beltway and Main Street. This storm is headed your way, and it's moving at about 35 miles per hour, so it's only minutes away from the eastern side of Forsyth County. Along Highway 158 and 311, also 421, the travel is going to be really dangerous, and it's going to be a short-lived period of time that you don't have to drive, but please choose to stay indoors and away from the roads if you are planning on going out. We're seeing some of this more intense rain up Highway 52. I'm going to just zoom in here, North Liberty Street, Grove Avenue, Norfleet Drive. Liberty Street is a very long corridor here off of Highway 52, just so you know, and in the community of Montview. This storm is going over your neighborhood, so please stay on the safe side and take cover. Lowest level of your home or building where you are right now, and stay away from windows. If anyone is able to give some sort of storm report, we have no ground verification at all that there's a funnel cloud or a tornado on the ground. So just please keep that in mind. This is radar indicated, and it's from National Weather Service offices that are quite a distance from this particular storm. So when you have a radar that's surveying a storm like this and it's far, far away, the radar beam goes out at an angle, and the farther away you are from the radar itself, the higher in the atmosphere that radar beam is sampling the atmosphere. So we may have elevated rotation. Don't know yet if there's any rotation at ground level though, because that radar is so far away from the storm. So just keep that in mind. This tornado warning is for a severe thunderstorm that may have rotation in it, and it is pronounced enough that the folks at the National Weather Service did include a warning here in Forsyth County. In effect until 8:45. We're going to check that rotation one more time, see if there's anything showing up now, because quite often we'll see things developing along a line. And again, what we're looking at, the colors are inbound and outbound, and this particular storm, again, these are more really pronounced winds in the lighter blue here. These are lighter winds in green, but they're all going in the same direction. So what we're getting is shear here, where winds are accelerating past the slower winds to the west, and that sometimes can produce little spin up activity with the winds dragging around a little whirl. So keep in mind that, again, we have an environment that is favorable. Right now we have wind shear around 69 miles per hour here across the eastern side of Winston-Salem. This rotation's moving really quickly to the east as well. So we have another 12 minutes left in this warning, and we're seeing it moving, this storm system moving at a really, really sizable clip. So let's go ahead and zoom out just a little bit. I'll show you how fast this shear is moving to the east as we loop it. And this is just the last hour. Just in the last hour, it has gone from northern Iredell County, Turnersburg, 1 hour all the way up here to the east side of Winston-Salem. This is a fast-moving rotation, maybe a little bit of weak rotation here around Rule Hall, but not much there to warrant any advisories at this point. But it is that very, very sharp increase in winds that can sometimes spin up activity here on the radar. Alex, I hear you have something more to add.
Yes. So I was looking at the same kind of area that you were looking at with this kind of almost S-like shape. Notice that there's kind of this bulge right through Forsyth County, right near Winston-Salem. That's obviously the area that we've been watching that is technically tornado warned. I was looking at a message from the National Weather Service, and it says that they kind of see that the overall threat of this rotation has kind of weakened, and we've kind of been saying that, right? It's not really showing anything super impressive to us, but usually when we have a bulge like this is when we start to worry more almost about a damaging wind threat taking over more instead of necessarily the rotation with it. But because the winds are so strong in this area, that's when the National Weather Service gets worried that we're going to start to see something kind of starting to spin a little bit. And that was one of the reasons that they did decide to go ahead and put that tornado warning on the storm. Now, they did also say that considering the trends with this and how it's kind of gradually gotten weaker down here, they're not necessarily expecting to extend the warning past that 8:45 timeframe. So that is some good news. But again, kind of like what Emily mentioned, up in this area, when we start to see this kind of S shape, we start to get worried about these little kind of nooks and crannies, as they call it, along that line. And we see that we're starting to get a little bit of some reds and some greens right here. So we're gonna have to watch this area also in Stokes County just very closely, since that typically is where we see kind of the kink in the line. That's when we see that possibility for more of that rotation kind of starting to take over. So that's, again, what we're going to keep an eye on. I know that that's not where that technically the warning is right now, but just based off of what I'm seeing, that's going to be something to watch. And it does actually look like the National Weather Service has put kind of this black outline that you see from this polygon means that a tornado is possible with a severe thunderstorm warning. So they're going to be watching for that rotation that both Emily and I were just talking about, that they're kind of seeing in that area as well. So we'll watch that as we continue through the rest of this morning. Emily, I'm going to send it back to you.
Okay, thank you so much. And I just wanted to pop our winds up there on screen for you so you can see. Gosh, Winston-Salem out at Smith Reynolds Airport, 48-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And so, yes, that wind that we were talking about, around 69 miles per hour at a high altitude, has translated down to the surface at almost 50 miles per hour. Sustained winds are at 28 miles per hour at PTI, 38-mile-per-hour gusts. All right, well, let's take a look at a timeline for when we can expect this storm to head into some of the cities downstream. And just so you know, it appears that the National Weather Service is not going to continue the tornado warning for the rest of the triad. So good news there. We hope that that will actually verify. If something were to re-intensify along this line, they may extend or reissue another tornado warning. But for the time being, this is for Forsyth County, and the warning stops right at the Guilford County line right here. So the storm is still going to be present, and it's still going to be moving eastward. Let's go ahead and just put a little bow line out here. It's moving to the northeast generally, and let's go ahead and pop that up there just so you can see some of the times of arrival for this storm. It may or may not be severe when it arrives in your neighborhood, but just so you get a general timeline, I want to make sure that this also is showing us the, excuse me, I just want to make sure that we've got our, okay, we got to change that to a 35-mile-per-hour forward movement, because that is actually pretty important as far as our times of arrival are concerned. Let's do this again. All right, here's our storm front moving to the northeast. Let's aim for Greensboro and some more of those cities up to the northeast. So if this storm holds together and continues on its trajectory as it has been so far, it's going to be around Kernersville at 8:43, so just another 5 minutes there. Oak Ridge around 8:51, Summerfield at 9 a.m. And so that's the northwestern corner of Guilford County. Starmount Forest, that's a little bit farther to the south, right there on the edge of our projected path. That in Greensboro around 9:12. Reidsville, potentially Reidsville anyway, back up here into Rockingham County by 9:21, and Sadler at 9:25. Again, there is no indication, we don't know at this point if this storm is going to intensify or if there will be additional warnings issued for it. But as it stands right now, this storm is producing torrential rainfall and incredible winds, wind gusts almost up to 50 miles per hour in Winston-Salem. So the intense rain is going to continue. That's going to make travel dangerous. And we, of course, want you to be very mindful of that as you are heading out and about, hopefully putting off any of your travels as you are watching the radar and watching the severe weather coverage here. So some of the more intense rain up Highway 311 right now. I'm going to zoom down to more of these street names so that you can see where some of the worst of the storm is right now. Old Walkertown Road and Darrow Road. This is here on the northern and northeastern side of Winston-Salem and Walkertown. The Winston-Salem Northern Beltway also affected. Highway 158, lots of travelers here, and that's where we also are seeing incredible volumes of rain. And we're going to have the winds just continuing to pick up as the storm continues to head up towards Belews Creek and back over here towards Walkertown and Kernersville. So, so far we're not seeing any really strong signatures for a tornado. We're going to go ahead and check those velocities one more time, and still we are looking at the winds just becoming much lighter in the wake of this line of showers and storms. Ahead of it, Kernersville, boy, are you getting socked with some wind right now. Upper level winds, let's go ahead and see where they are because, yeah, these are, I'm going to sample up here just north of Kernersville, 76 miles per hour. Remember, that's at a higher elevation, but at ground level, you may have 60 mile per hour winds there in the northeastern corner of Forsyth County. So that is certainly going to get your attention if you are on the roads. That's a dangerous environment for driving, just even without the rain, reducing your traction and visibility. 70 mile per hour winds aloft here just around Kernersville. And those strong winds extend all the way to the north, just east of Walnut Cove. We can take a look at the conditions up there in Rockingham County too. This bow that Alex was talking about, where winds get very suddenly lighter, they're not necessarily shifting in direction. All of these winds are inbound, but they certainly are very, very strong. Look at some of these winds up here just to the east of Walnut Cove and north of Belews Creek. They really do drop here down to maybe 27 miles per hour. South of Belews Creek, 77 miles per hour. So there's some really, really pronounced acceleration in our winds aloft right there along that Forsyth County and Stokes County line right up here. I know this is a lot of information to take in, but that's a big, big change in our wind speeds between 27 miles per hour and 77 miles per hour. We'll clear this off. Let's see what's happening around the rest of the Fox 8 viewing area because we have other warnings that have been issued. We have the tornado warning in Forsyth County, which will be expiring in 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning here for Guilford County, Randolph County, and portions of Davidson County. So let's see what is going on here. This is likely part of the continuation of that tornado warning in Forsyth County. Just as the storm is expected to move into Guilford County, they're going to continue to keep a warning up. And as Alex was mentioning, when you see these warnings come up on our maps with this black outline on them, that means that the National Weather Service is sort of qualifying this warning, saying There is some weak rotation in the line that's coming in. There may be a tornado warning issued, and that's what happened in Forsyth County. We had a tornado, or rather a severe thunderstorm warning come out with that black outline, and then they tacked on the tornado warning when they saw enough rotation there, or at least enough potential for a rotation within this line. This severe thunderstorm warning, that's in effect until 9:45 this morning. It extends all the way from the northern edge of Guilford County all the way down to Asheboro and over to Lexington, including Thomasville. So this is a broad area. And I'm going to just, because I know the desk is sometimes in the way, let's see if we can move this map up just a little bit to show you where that is. There you go. More warnings farther south too, all the way down to Charlotte. But the most extreme warning right now is still in Forsyth County. I want to go back up. I want to go back up here to Forsyth County just to check on the status of this particular warning. Warnings extend from southern Virginia all the way down to South Carolina. So this is a really extensive line of severe weather. So 8:45 is our expiration time, another 30 seconds to go. This is still a radar indicated storm moving to the northeast at 35 miles per hour. We are going to have this expiring imminently, so it looks like the National Weather Service will let that just expire. And once it does, we're going to be dealing with severe thunderstorm warnings, and we'll go back to regular programming unless I hear otherwise. I believe this is the last of the warnings, at least for now, as far as tornado warnings go. There is one just to the south of Charlotte. That one is not being extended just yet into the Fox 8 viewing area, but we'll be watching the southern end of that line of thunderstorms in case additional warnings are issued. Stay tuned. We're going to take a brief break since our warning is now expired in Forsyth County. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in just a couple minutes to continue your coverage of the severe weather here in North Carolina.